Boo. Okay, and you guys are now live on, and go right ahead, please, and start now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the season 2 premiere of Forever and a Day's After Show. I'm one of your hosts, Matthew Preston, and I have another special host with me right here. But wait a minute, you're not the normal season 2 host. You're not Darrell Anthony.
No, I'm not. I mean, I don't think I can, do like this and be Darrell, but no, I'm Candice Mack. How are you? Hi, everybody.
Hi, Candice. I'm fantastic. How are you? Yeah, it is so snowing here in New York City and slushy, and it's a blizzard, it looks like, but I love it. And I got my PJs on. You can't see, but I got PJs on underneath this. And I also wore this snowy snowflake sweater.
Well, I'm glad you have snow because it's raining here.
Yeah,
it's dreary.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of sad. It's sad.
Kind of sad. But you know what's not sad is today's episode, because we have with us a jam-packed show. We're going to talk about the season 2 premiere, which is episodes 16 and 17 that you wrote, that you were a part of.
Yeah, Casey Hutchins, myself. We have Emmy Morgan, who's the new writer on the season. Tom Christina. We have an amazing writing staff who wrote, episode 1 and 2 of the second season. But like you said, in the whole catalog, it is episode 16 and 17. And we got to talk.
Oh, we got to talk. But before we get into those really good stories, we have to talk to somebody special, another special guest. We have the uber talented, I've been saying uber talented. I love giving people, uber talented, Khalia Davis, who plays Leslie. Let's bring her on. Hi, Khalia Davis.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I'm doing really well. Hello out there. It's great. Yeah.
I feel like you're glowing. You look like you're glowing.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I was going to say, you look like you're glowing. That snow looks good on you.
It's also a ring light that you can't see, but in some makeup, but
Don't give away all the secrets.
Yeah,
why not? So, Khalia, tell us all about yourself. Where are you from?
Yes, so I am originally from the Bay Area in California. I just recently learned that there's a Bay Area in Florida, so now I have to be really specific. But us Bay Areans in California, when you say Bay Area, we know what you mean. Like, we rep the Bay hard. But then I just recently realized there's a Bay. I was like, who are they? No. And I know that there's a Super Bowl with the whole Florida thing. I was like, not okay. But yes, so I'm originally from there. I'm currently calling in from the Muwekma Ohlone tribal land of San Jose, California right now. And I got my start in this business at 6 years old, actually. I was watching The Cosby Show, and my mom loves to tell the story about how I turned around and I was like, I want to do what Rudy Huxtable does. And my mom was like, I'm from New York and I only know Broadway. I don't know TV, but I know education. So I went to acting school and became an actress really young and have been doing it ever since.
That is awesome. And you know what? I just want to say this. You are a ray of sunshine. Because
thank you.
Because not only this girl, does an amazing job as Leslie, we need to bring up something that I talked to you about of you educating the young children.
Yes.
Khalia, talk about our friend, and you know who I'm talking about, who learned who teaches my kids at school, and they're like, when is she coming to play with us? So I want to give this opportunity for you to talk about this, because I think it's really important because you're more than just Leslie.
Right. Yes. So gratefully, I know these two amazing people because Forever and a Day. However, I also am a puppeteer and I love working, and I have a passion for children's education, children's arts education, children's entertainment and media. So when the pandemic officially began, all of us actors were like, oh, what are we going to do with our lives? And I was like, well, let me take another skill that I haven't been able to flex for a while, and that's puppetry. And I was gifted a really beautiful puppet that looks very similar to myself. And I let the puppet name herself. Her name is Nia, she told me. And we created a cute show called Nia's Neighborhood. It's on YouTube. And the purpose of the show truly was for me to have a source of accountability to practice puppetry. But what was so wonderful is that we've been so well supported by so many people. And I am really grateful, because sometimes it seems like children's entertainment is not at the same level as like a soap opera or adult entertainment. And so it's been really lovely to see adults and children being just as supportive of Nia and her antics and all that.
See it? Oh, go ahead, Matthew.
I was going to say, that is absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to check that out. But something else that we have to talk about is Leslie, who season 2, Leslie, I guess we can call her, she's a Bennett. She's a part of the Bennett family.
Yes. Can I tell you, because so for those of you who do not know, we don't get to hear the numbers as we're recording. So we just record our scene and then we leave. And then Casey or James, whomever gets to be the buttery narrator voice for that episode, will record on their own. So I'm listening to the first episode, and then they're like, Leslie Marshall Bennett, played by Khalia Davis. I was like, so she took his name? Okay, interesting.
It's a good name to take. Let's just say that, because, Bennett love all the way.
Says my father-in-law. Yeah, it's a great name.
We've had a few interactions with each other.
We did for season 1. I feel like we had more, but maybe I guess maybe the same amount in season 2. I don't know.
Yeah. So what has been your favorite plot so far? Because she's very much an essential character of the show, kind of one of the Juliets, because there's a lot of like Juliets of these Romeo and Juliet type plots that are going on in Augustus. So what has been some of your favorite storylines?
Well, if I'm talking just Leslie and her storylines, I really loved the conflict that came about between Leslie, Stephanie, and Isaac towards like the middle and up into the end of the first season, because it really highlighted a lot of the backstory of why Leslie is so determined to succeed. And also, I think it gave the audience another viewpoint of Stephanie. And I think that she deserves that, because she's such a multi-dimensional character. So it was really fun to be able to play off of that. Also, we got to have the first slap of the season. So like, I will never not bring that up, because that's amazing. And then I think now one of my other favorites that don't have to do with Leslie actually is I really am enjoying Gunner's like desire to take down Emma. And it's like, I'm trying to understand why he's so upset about it, but it is really entertaining for me to listen to these other incredible artists who voice these characters and just be like, this is hysterical to me that Gunner is obsessed with Emma. Obsessed.
Oh, we are definitely going to get into that in today's show. But I have to say, as a viewer, and Candice, I think you kind of know my opinion on this. You can maybe weigh in on this. With that Stephanie Isaac storyline, that whole rivalry between Stephanie and Leslie, I kind of made a little nickname for her. Please don't take offense to this, but I called her Bratley, because she came off to me as such a spoiled brat in this whole situation. Because I was like, yeah, I'm all about like the love triangle between Colin and Alex. But then she was like, Dad, I'm your daughter and you're going to do what I say. And I'm just like, excuse me?
Well, you got to understand, first and foremost, Leslie she still misses her mom. And I think we have to realize that, and speaking on a personal level, is that when your mom is gone, you can't really see another woman, quote unquote, taking her place. And you can't also see your father dating somebody that you can't stand. And like it's been said on this show, and fans have also said it, if it was anybody else, fine. But it's Stephanie, and you already know Leslie and Stephanie, doesn't like Stephanie because, quote unquote, she uses her access to, in her head, get ahead or whatnot. And then you have Leslie, who is a little princess. She does have it where she's self-absorbed a little bit, but she also doesn't want her father. It's like she's protecting her father from being hurt, which is her right. She's a daughter. She just it's weird. It's like I can't picture somebody like that. Like that's like my father is so much more than being with that. So I personally am like, if I was Leslie, I would have said the same thing too. But I would also know to stay in my lane, and be like, you know what, Dad, I can only tell you this because of how I feel. But yeah. She's a little brat, but I understand her too. So, mm-hmm.
And it says the writer, and something else that I love about the rivalry is that it is very reminiscent of Generations with Maya Rubins and Doreen Jackson, this famous cat fight, which if you have not seen it, YouTube it. It is just amazing. Christophe St. John, the late Christophe St. John is in it. He breaks it up. Oh, it's fantastic. And whenever I heard this rivalry, it definitely made me think of that. So more about rivalries and love triangles. Khalia, we would love to play a little fun game with you. Are you ready for this game that we're going to tell you about?
Ooh.
Okay. It's called Colette's, which is Colin and Alex. So we have Candice. Candice is going to. Candice, do you have like a tally board, like a score sheet?
I have something called a notebook.
Yeah, I like it. Did you find it in your lockbox? We are not ever going to give that up. And it's going to go on for every season. So, Khalia, we're going to ask you, if you're thinking as Leslie,
okay,
we're going to ask you some questions about what would Leslie choose, or even as Khalia, I guess. We'll say your answer will be either Colin or Alex, and we will see who wins in the end. Are you ready for these Spitfire questions?
Yes, let's go.
And Candice, are you ready to take score? Okay, there is no timer, and we're gonna go. We're gonna start. Okay, who do you think it would be a better lover? Okay, maybe there should be a timer.
This is hard. Okay, here's why this is hard for everybody who out there watching. You got to be specific about like what kind, because I think that Alex is the kind of lover that's like it's dangerous almost. It's like real good, but it's also like ooh. And then Colin is like just so attentive and caring and like wants to make sure that you are well taken care of during it.
Are we going to say a tie?
So are we going to give them both a point?
I think we need to give both a point because it depends on in what context you're
Okay, so then that's a Colex. We'll call that a Colex. One for Colin, one for Alex. Next question.
Okay.
I feel like it's a game show. I love it. Next question. Who do you think would be the better father?
Oh, Colin.
Point for Colin. Who would win in a fist fight, Colin or Alex?
Alex.
I love it. Who has the better father? Colin or Alex?
You know what? Alex does. And I ain't even gonna say it because you on the show right now. I'm gonna
believe me.
The arc that Jonah has changed. Jonah has grown. Gunna has not. So
there you go. And also, who would be the better politician?
Colin.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Who would have a better reality show?
Alex. I feel like Tyler David, who plays Alex, already is living a reality show with his girlfriend.
Oh my God.
Sorry. No, not sorry. Actually, he puts it all out there. Like, he and his girlfriend are super famous just for being a couple. So they're already living a reality show.
I love it. And we have one final question. Who do you think is better for Leslie? These are, hard questions.
I feel like it's like if we're bookending it, a call X because of what context? Because Alex pushes Leslie to be independent thinker, to stand up for herself because he's not always the best. But Colin is just so sweet and well-meaning, good person.
So we're gonna call it a call X. We're gonna tie that one for Colin, one for
bookend.
Alex. I love it. So Candice, who won this, including the ties? Who won?
Well, a score to 5-4, Alex wins.
Good thing I married him.
Which is what we learned from the Christmas episode.
Yes.
And guess what? We still have you, Khalia, and we want to talk about the show as viewers, as writers, as actors. Do you want to help us do that?
I would love to. Let's go.
All right.
Oh, okay. Well, let me pull up my notes, and hopefully I don't, lose anybody, because that could happen. I'm still here, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I was listening. I was drinking my coffee this morning. I took notes, literally, because I love taking notes for these recaps. And so this is the first recap that I have. Miranda's powerful monologue. And Jonah is being supportive to Miranda. Dr. Avery Randolph explains her surgery to a very concerned Jonah and other family. Jonah tries to be there for his ex-wife, but she declines his assistance. Jonah says he loves her to himself. Does Jonah really care for her? Let's discuss.
Well, as a fan of the show, I feel as though this is guilt. Because again, season 1, Jonah was playing around with Stephanie. Did Jonah care about Miranda while he was fucking Stephanie? Just saying. But now that you have the fact that Stephanie is not really dealing with Jonah because of the falling out, Jonah feels as though, okay, well, I'll go back to, like with Miranda. And of course, Miranda, is sick. And you feel guilty because, there was a part where, they were talking and she left and he was like, I really do love you. It's just like, is Jonah really doing all of this because he really does care for her? Or is it because of the guilt? Because, guilt will get you every time. It's like, dang, well, if I didn't do this, maybe she wouldn't have gotten sick or something like that. So I'm curious as to whether Jonah really has changed. Is he going to try to be a good husband? I know. Or is this, again, his guilty conscience playing on him? Because, when people get sick, if you have a falling out with somebody and they get sick, you're going to try to be there for them every second of the day because it's like, I need to be there. I wish I could have been there. I would have done this differently. So
yeah, before it's too late. You don't want it to be too late. And that's definitely, especially with what the information that he's getting from Dr. Avery Randolph, who I love that name, by the way. Yeah, and I also think, I totally agree with that with the guilt. I think it's a little bit of a combination of both. And I also think that Miranda is not going to make it, she's not making it easy for him because she has not forgiven him for the cheating and being embarrassed in front of the whole town.
Would you forgive somebody like that? Like, you've been embarrassed, like, all this time.
Oh, no.
You would think that your husband is, running as a politician, this election, and all of a sudden at the gala of all places in front of everybody, including Danielle from trash.com, it's like all of a sudden this was exposed as Miranda is dealing with all of this and she doesn't need the stress. And to me, during the Christmas episode where Jonah was trying to be all nice to her and stuff, and she said, divorce. And it's like, oh, you thought you were getting off. So now you want to be nice to her. Because now she's not 110, you're going to try to come back into her orbit and try to make amends. No.
Khalia, what do you think? Would you forgive Jonah?
No. No. Mm-mm. Nope. I will say, though, to the previous question, that I agree with you. I think it's a combination of both. I think that he feels guilty, but I also do feel like he wouldn't. If you feel guilty, you would just kind of show up when you need to show up and then you would leave, just so that you're saving face. But the fact that he is consistently putting himself out there for Miranda now, where in the first season, he wasn't around. Like, he was finding excuses and reasons to not be present for her and like finishing up conversations fast and like getting out of there. So, and also to himself saying he loves her. Like, I think that he probably is almost in real time realizing he still loves her. So that could be something too. Like, maybe he started as guilt and then it's developing into I'm falling in love with her again.
Oh yeah, and also me as Matthew Preston, if you betray me, I go into soap opera mode and I'm thinking about how I'm gonna get revenge. Just saying.
Oh no.
I mean, according to my therapist. I don't know.
Real quick, Matthew. Simone in the chat said, I think it's because of guilt. She has cancer. Jonah has to show if he has really changed. I mean, they always say that when somebody gets sick, depends on who, if people do come back, they have to show that they've changed for the better to help make you feel okay. But other than that, I think we all agree that if we were Miranda, bye Jonah. hashtag doghouse for life.
Hashtag by Jonah. I love it. So the next story we're going to talk about, Colin and Emma discuss baby names. They come up with Connor, who was Aunt Melanie's lost child. Colin has an awkward run-in with Leslie and Alex at everyone's favorite, the Tasty Bean. Has everyone moved on? ? But also, there's more with Leslie. Leslie makes demands on a hotel project with Uncle Gregory, again, in my opinion, trying to control everything. Let's discuss.
I'm going to let Khalia take this one.
I was like, dang, you know what? I was trying to be all nice and give like Jonah like some redemptive qualities, but you keep coming for Leslie. So you know what? Never mind. I'm done.
As a viewer, Matthew Preston as a viewer, not as Jonah. Jonah loves his daughter-in-law because it makes him look good.
There is something really lovely and fun about the fact that Leslie Marshall has that side to her. I think she would be such a boring character if there wasn't something about her that you're like, oh, okay, for a while I was like, oh, she's kind of like the straight man, like she just is kind of there, and then people are orbiting around her and like having the more exciting things happening. But I actually really like the fact that she is taking control, and I think what you're seeing as a viewer in the top of season 2 is a continuation from the end of the first season when she steps out on her own and she says, you know what, I'm actually better than this. I'm going to prove to you, Dad, that actually I can do this on my own. I can run a business. I know what I'm doing. So I think you're seeing that, and also just the frustration of now I'm working with the uncle who is doing the same thing of like, well, you don't get all of the work. I'm going to hold on to stuff. And she's demanding, like, show me that I can do this. Like, I can be part of it. So that is what I have to say on that. I'm also super interested in the fact that there seems to be a nice reconciliation between Alex and Colin and Leslie. It seems pleasant right now. That's it's nice to have that on a soap for a little bit, like just pleasant interactions with people.
They weren't throwing punches. They weren't throwing drinks. They weren't throwing slaps. And you are right. That's what I love about Leslie is that she will slap a BI person. You know what I mean? I can't spell that one. But you know what I mean? I like that she takes some action.
It was nice to see. It was nice to hear, because Forever and a Day is an audio podcast and it's on JLJ Media. Make sure you check it out. Tell a friend, tell your neighbor. I enjoyed it because this kind of showed growth in that split moment because it would be awkward, obviously, with Colin and Leslie. It was already awkwardness, in the sense of there was no wedding. That Leslie, in front of everybody and I always joke with Khalia. Khalia knows about it. It was on a Wednesday. The wedding was on a Wednesday. And that's why a lot of people didn't show up. So
All in on a budget. All in on a budget.
It was a budget. But the thing is, the fact that, they're going to run into each other, every now and then. And they talked about Miranda. So it was like common, like courtesy. But like you said, there's still some, it's just a weird thing. It's like, okay, Leslie was like, well, that was nice. That, okay. I didn't know where we was going at with this. Like, I did like that. I did like that scene because it was like, oh shoot, like, are we about to have a repeat? Like, everybody leave the cafe. But I thought that was really nice. And yeah, and it's funny because I posted on our Facebook account, Forever and a Day podcast, who do you guys think Leslie should be with? Colin
what
or
did they
Al?
say?
As of right now, 28% said Colin and 50% said Alex.
Oh, wow.
But it could change. We'll finalize all the totals and we'll talk to you guys later. But
So let's move on to another storyline that we have with some really big players. I love it. Andrew helped Gunnar rig the election. I caught that and I was like, what? And Gunnar suggests that he sleeps with Emma to eliminate her. Emma finds Gunnar's bug. Andrew's livid that their plan is thwarted. Emma slaps Andrew in a heated confrontation. Was it Gunnar? Wait, who did she slap? Andrew or Gunnar?
I think it was
Gunnar.
Was it Gunnar? Oh, Andrew slaps Gunnar. Sorry. These are my notes. I feel like Wendy Williams with my notes. This is why I need you guys to get me on the track. And Emma says they will pay. That's like my little Emma impersonation.
Good job.
But look, Miranda, not Miranda. Look out, Emma. Who's writing this? Look out, Emma. Your mama Lucinda, love her name as the world turns, is paying you a visit because of Gunnar, and Mommy Lou doesn't approve of her daughter.
No, she doesn't. This is probably one of my favorite stories. Because like you said, now we're starting to see Gunnar, and a lot of soap fans will understand this, being like a Victor Newman, where he's trying to, I don't want to say control, but he wants to make sure that nobody touches his family. He already thinks that Emma is a no good person. I mean, he had people dig up some stuff. You have Andrew, by the way, Frank the Copless. I'm just going to leave it at that because he's not playing no Frank Cooper, folks. I've been saying this. Stay tuned because you're going to see, well, you already start seeing it now with Andrew. It's just, Gunnar has helped Andrew and Andrew is helping Gunnar. So it's like, we're in this together. Emma is a smart cookie, but again, watch out for Emma. You just now, you're trying too much right now, Gunnar, but I understand. I get it. And now you're about to bring the person that can really unravel her. Mama. Mama
Lou. I want to call her Mama Lou. I want to give her that nickname, Mama Lou.
Do it.
It's going to be interesting. And yes, we did name the character after as Walters. We do little things here and there. You got, we love
little Easter eggs. So there's more to talk about. We have Elaine. She was rushed to the hospital. She shocked till she dropped. Literally, she dropped. And now, is she slipping into old habits? Very Catherine Chancellor by a bottle?
It's so interesting. I didn't see this one coming. This was truly a script thing that I was shocked. I sat there reading it being like, what's happening to Elaine? So I am interested in seeing this. Elizabeth is incredible. So she's doing an amazing job channeling and figuring out this journey that her character's going on. And I am here for it, but I'm also heartbroken. So I really hope she doesn't slip back into old habits. I truly do. But I was a bit shocked that was actually the direction that we're going with her character.
I agree. I'm going to well, considering that I co-write this, I also was kind of surprised as a listener. I try to, sometimes take that side of me because I'm a fan of the show. Regardless if I wasn't a part of it, I would still be a fan of the show. And Elizabeth, who plays Elaine, I feel her pain because look, we all know how it is when you have a sharp pain in your wrist and then, all that's that's not fun at all. But I am worried about where this may lead to. And with everything going on, you just question, can your old habits, this is the question, can your old habits come back 10 times strong?
Oh, totally. Of course they can. And that's why I think I love this character, just because, and especially everything that Elizabeth brings to it, because you really do feel for her. And that's why I kind of do compare her to a Catherine Chancellor, because she is battling her demons. And there are other characters battling other demons who are very real, like Stephanie, because Stephanie informs Isaac that she is a true professional. Her new TV. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was like, wait, her new TV? What am I talking about? She got a new TV. But it was Donovan's portrait, which freaks her out. Isaac steps in to protect her. Detective Lockhart, LOL, I have that LOL in there, I saw what y'all were doing, is on the stalking case. But will it truly ever end? Isaac doesn't deter her from giving up. She is fed up with men in her life. She's also Dominique's new employee. And speaking of Dominique is blackmailing Gregory. So much to dissect.
Okay.
How she was like, oh, finally, my TV is here. I'm sorry, just who says that? I as if like the pizza was coming. Like that was one of my favorite.
Listen, like Stephanie, I love the Housewives. So if I can't watch the Housewives and my ex has put a portrait of us, I would not only be freaked out, I would be mad. I would be like, I'm calling the cable company because this is ridiculous.
Actually, and also, that is again, true crime. Where did the TV go? Like, we never got.
Did he steal the TV?
I don't know what's happening with the TV now. Now I actually want to know. Did she get her TV?
Well, Detective Lockhart, you better find it.
That's right.
There you go. First of all, Christine Sullivan, who plays Stephanie, is amazing. All the actors and actresses on our show are amazing. I'm worried. I'm worried for her well-being at this point because, like you said, I would be happy if, I use my tax refund to get this new TV, and then all of a sudden it's a portrait. It's like, wait a minute, hold up, Amazon or UPS, where are you? Where's like you said, where is the TV? Like, was there a swap out? Like, did Donovan take the TV out the box and put it up at his house? Like,
that would be the coldest thing. If he's like, oh, I'm just going to take your TV and I'm going to...
Your new smart TV that you just got off of Amazon and everything. By the way, real quick, Amazon, Forever and a Day Book Saga, JLJ Media.
I'm still waiting good at plugging coffee mugs. I want Tasty Bean coffee mugs. That's what I want.
You want that? We can make that happen. We'll talk to. We know some. We'll do it. But I mean, I'm worried because Stephanie, like she told Isaac, and by the way, their relationship, ever since the falling out and the Christmas episode, has definitely taken a little twist. And yeah, she is a professional now, because I guess she feels as though she did all of this for what? For the fact that, Isaac did know about Jonah and Stephanie. And it's like, what she's kind of right now, she's trying to figure everything out. And, with Isaac, and real quick, shout out to Brandon Lawkins, who, we announced he is vacating the role. Friday was his last episode. And Khalia, I want to real quick, before we continue with the recap, I want your, how was it to work with Brandon? Because Brandon is such an amazing actor and you guys really connected. So how was it like working with him, and what are you going to miss about him?
Oh, Brandon. I was like, ooh, I have two daddies. It's awesome. But I would like to say publicly that Brandon is incredible to work with as a fellow acting partner and a scene partner. So often in these situations, you kind of come in and you're like, okay, I know what I need to do in this scene. But what I really loved is that he would ask questions before we would begin. He would ask to do things again. He just always was striving for it to be as great as possible. And then that brought out greatness in myself. So, and as somebody who is still getting her feet wet into the narrative podcast world, it is really, really lovely to have somebody like that a part of it. So he is greatly missed. And I am so glad that we could celebrate him in this way, though.
Yeah,
we are definitely
he's still alive. I just realized
he's still alive, of course.
Made it sound like he was not alive. He is alive. Praise God. Oh, he is well. Everybody's fine.
We're gonna miss him, and I'm gonna miss the chemistry between Jonah and Isaac. However, but I cannot wait to see what is in store for the new Isaac. But I also think that Isaac's gonna get his heart broken. And moving on to the more brokenhearted Forever and a Day in Augustus. Let's talk about Caitlyn is in business with Sky, her ex-girlfriend, who was revealed to be the Augustus blackmailer, which I think we didn't say that in the last show, so we're saying it now. Spoiler alert, if you don't know that. Lakin is jealous and upset that Caitlyn isn't there for her. Lenore is such a proud mama. Sky wears a present to bring up their past. Lenore comps Colin, and here's my question about that. Can you afford that, Lenore? Is that good for business at the Tasty Bean?
Do you notice that she always is? This is what I feel about every TV show that has a coffee shop, and they're always letting people drink for free. And I'm like, when do you make money?
Exactly. No, Khalia, I totally agree with you. If I'm owning a business, I know this is a soap opera, but if it's real life, I need that money and you're paying for that latte. Thank you for coming in, and please come in tomorrow and have a good day. And also, let's talk about the daughter, Sky. She seems a little bit unhinged in my opinion. We love that. Those villains, very Donovan-esque type of villain. But I feel like she's playing the long game here. She's a smart cookie.
Oh yeah.
See what I did there? A smart cookie. Yeah, she's a smart cookie. And she's definitely, I think she's playing both of these two. And I'm loving it.
Before Lakin, there was Sky. And Sky is like, oh, I'm gonna have her again. Like pretty much. Like that was mine, wearing and see, y'all thought it was Danielle the whole time.
Yeah, no,
you know who it was.
I totally did. And then, well,
I mean, I'm not going to speak on behalf of Danielle, but I will speak for her. She was a little heartbroken that everybody in Augusta thought that was her.
Listen, she has a reputation. She was upholding that reputation. Everybody thought it was her. Trash.com. I mean, also look at what Sky did. Sky totally pinned that on her. So Sky is one to watch. She's definitely a character one to watch for. And then the last storyline that we have to dig into and talk about. Melanie's ex-baby daddy, Steven, ruins her date with Donovan. She admits to having a long-lost child, but it was Pam Ewing because it was a dream. But is it real? Steven is real and wants to see her and their child. The two dramatically reunite. Melanie denies Connor being alive, but Steven knows everything, including Melanie's lies. Dun, dun, dun.
So he about the lockbox.
The lockbox is coming back into play here.
Exactly. I think Steven probably has a lockbox too. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about this one.
I'll say this, Beth Ehlers, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She needs a daytime Emmy for that performance because of that monologue in the beginning. If we're going to talk about Frank not being Frank, but Beth not being Harley, this is a completely different character, and she is bringing it, and but my question is, and I'm thinking this as a viewer, because again, I don't know anything. I only read the scripts for Jonah, and that is truth. truth, so I like to hear it for the first time. But I'm wondering, is Steven real, or is it a figment of her imagination?
I don't know.
Ba-boom, mic drop.
Ask the writers.
Khalia, what do you think? Figment of imagination? Or we can also have the truth come out about Colin?
There were so many juicy moments. That was a really juicy moment with Steven, because I was like, whoa, she's sharing way too much with Donovan. That's all I cared about. I was like, I know who Donovan is, and this isn't good. Like, I don't like that she's giving him way too much information to then use against her later. Because as a viewer, as a listener, we know Donovan now through Stephanie. So that's all I was thinking about. But then when it was like, it was all a dream, I was like, oh, okay. Good, but also like, wait, then who's Steven? So then now I want to know what's going on. And also she told him that the baby died, but then in the dream, he's like, oh, I know he's still alive. So then it's like, is that a premonition? Like now I'm going, oh, are we going magical realism a little bit with Forever and a Day, where we're actually, Melanie can foresee what is to come. So that is going to be so interesting.
Very Passions, and also very Guiding Light 2003 whenever Reva becomes a psychic. Candice, do we have any bit of a spoiler from you? I know you can't. She never does.
She's very good.
I will say that there is going to be a shocking twist coming up. There is going to be more insight of the characters and their past. And there's going to be a shocking death at the end of the season. Stay tuned.
Oh my God. That was like the biggest spoiler ever. I cannot wait to hear.
Y'all, that's crazy.
Khalia, by the way, thank you so much for joining us. This was your first after show, correct?
This was my first after show, and I had a blast. It was so great. I had a blast.
You had fun, yeah?
Thank you so much for having me.
So Khalia, where can the fans find you? What is your social media? Put it out there.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna lift up. One of my favorite other podcasts does that. They're like, you can lift up your social media. It is on Twitter. I am at Davis Khalia. On Instagram, I am Khalia SHD. So, and then if you just Google me, you'll probably find my website. I don't know. It's very strange to plug social media because I don't think that I use it to the extent that it's supposed to be used by people in the industry.
I'm the same way. I literally just updated my website about Forever and a Day. Oops.
Yes.
Candice, where can everybody find you?
Oh man, get ready for the rundown. On Instagram at CandyMac82, on Twitter at CandyPool. But you also can find our show at FAAD Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you guys please follow all craziness. You can also follow us on Facebook at
iHeartRadio, Spotify, FAADseries.com.
Yeah, podcast. But wait, you also need to follow JLJ Media.
Yes, you do.
On that is mind-boggling. And I think we also need to promote this. Go to Amazon right now. Get yourself a copy of the Forever and a Day book series. Do you want to know what's going on when the show's not happening? There's stuff going on at the Tasty Bean, at the Magnifier, at the Bay Ridge Hotel. And there's a new book that has just been released, Find Out More Dish. And I think a certain person is going to be in that book series. I
cannot wait. I cannot wait for that. And if you want to follow me, Matthew Preston, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at mprestonnyc. You can also hear me on Forever and a Day, which comes out, was it Monday, Fridays, 3 p.m. Guiding Light time. That was whenever come on. And also go to my website, matthewpreston.me. And ladies, I have to say thank you so much for joining me, for Candice, for being my co-host. You know I love talking to you. Khalia, you keep it up and you just keep bringing it as Leslie Oh my gosh, I was like, I almost said Leslie Collins. That sounds like a real person. No, Leslie Harper. Leslie Bennett. Oh my gosh, Leslie Bennett.
Leslie Marshall Bennett.
Leslie Marshall. I'm having a Wendy Williams moment. Well, from all of us here at JLJ Media, make sure to follow JLJ Media and Forever Today. I have to go like put lots of makeup on my face for another show that I'm doing. So ladies, thank you so much. And everyone out there, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to join us next week. I'm pretty sure Darrell will be back taking over the co-host position. And we're going to talk more about Forever and a Day. So don't wait.